Joined now by Republican Congressman Blake Farenthold, whose home district is just a stone's throw away from the border in Texas. Congressman, first of all, let me just start by getting your reaction to Stephanie's piece there on the danger that these kids face from gangs in Central America. Is there something more that the United States can be doing to help these particular countries combat gangs?
It depends on how you see the United States worldview. Obviously, we could be much more involved down there, but the issue is how much worse has this violence gotten over the past few years? Is that what's causing the flood of immigrants, or is it the fact that there's a belief that if you come to the U.S., you're going to stay? I think it's the latter.
So you don't think that the violence in these countries has anything to do with the surge? None at all?
No, I think it's a factor.
Okay.
But the violence has been around for a while.
So it sounds as if your contention is that it's policies that have created this surge.
And our failure to return people back to their countries of origin. You get to the United States, you get in the legal process, and unless you're a Mexican or a Canadian, it's years before you get your hearing and a return.
Are you referring to the Bush-era law,
yes.
The 2000? So why has that law remained on the books for so long?
I don't know. You know, one of President Obama's original requests was that law be changed, that we get more judges and we get more money. I hear now we're going to get the request for more money, but we're not seeing the request for the other stuff moving as fast.
Our understanding, though, was that there was going to be a request for additional judges and facilities as well. That was my understanding. Are you saying that's not true?
Well, I think we're working on legislation, but
okay.
The news today is all about the money.
United Nations officials at this point urging the United States to classify these immigrant children as refugees displaced by armed conflict. Some of your Republican colleagues, like rural Labrador, Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, say that they need to be deported. What do you think needs to be done with the children who are already here?
Well, they need to go through the process. We need to change the rules and get the message down there so that they're able to be deported in a reasonable process. But you can't change the rules on the folks that are always here. Constitution prohibits ex post facto laws. So we're going to have to get those additional judges and work them through the system. You know, it's a 3-year wait now with 2,000 children. God knows how long it's going to be with the 60+ thousand that are estimated to be moving through at this point in time.
Are you going to be voting for the $2 billion request from the president?
We've got to see the details. We need to find some offsets, and I want to couple that with the other reforms that the president requested, the additional judges and the change in status of the other than Mexicans.
As we mentioned, President Obama will be in Texas tomorrow talking to local leaders, talking to faith leaders about the border crisis. The White House says at this point the president has no intention of actually visiting the border, despite requests from those, including your Texas colleague, Senator John Cornyn, I'm told. Should President Obama go to the border, and how would that help the current situation?
Listen, I was just down there last week. You have got to see the thousands of children put into basically jails designed for 400 adults. The White House is afraid of the optics on that. It would look like the Katrina incident. This really is President Obama's Katrina, his failure to go down there in a timely manner.
Is that a fair comparison? I mean, because there are those who have argued, and in fact, it sounded as if you made the same assertion at the beginning of our interview, that some of what we're seeing right now is the result of, again, that Bush-era law that forbids these children from being sent home quickly.
Well, it's a urgent humanitarian problem that is facing the nation. That was what Katrina was, and that is what the crisis at the border is. If you had been in that facility, seen those children piled on top of each other, sleeping on concrete floors with bathrooms, common shared bathrooms with only a half wall separating them, and just the humidity and the smell and the claustrophobia of it, I mean, it's just absolutely deplorable conditions.
So this is a humanitarian crisis and should be treated as such.
That we absolutely need to deal with the children who are over here, get them in reasonable facilities, and promptly get them back home where they came from.
So this is a humanitarian crisis, and we should treat it as such.
Yes, but we can solve some of the humanitarian crisis by turning off the magnet that's drawing these children here.
Congressman Blake Farenthold from Texas. Congressman, thank you for your time.
My pleasure.